grandson again. There we go.
What's up with the voice?
Let's type message. That's delete. Okay, now there we go.
For those that are slowly joining, I want to say good morning or good afternoon, depending where you're at in the United States. This is amazing that I was able to connect with Belinda. For those that have been following Robert Lavoie Finnegan, as you know, this is symbolic regarding Robert Lavoie Finnegan and what happened in Oregon, the unlawful murder using mercenaries by the de facto government against Robert Lavoie Finnegan and the political prisoners, all for educating the American people about the Constitution and what's really happening in the United States of America. So we know that the assassination of Robert Lavoie Finnegan and the unlawful incarceration of the political prisoners, the Hammonds and the Bundys, is all tied to Uranium One, the Clinton Foundation, and John Podesta. So this is crucial. For those that you guys know, anyone out there that's in Oklahoma, you probably want to see this live stream. Because it's going to start getting extremely educational for those in Oklahoma and for those that reside in Oregon. These two states are right now going through a lot of things in regards to the research. The research is coming together, and it's up to the American people to decide, what is wrong and what is right. So at the end of the day, I'm doing this live stream for those out there that reside in Oregon and that reside in Oklahoma. So those out there that know the people that are residing in Oklahoma and in Oregon, you'll understand Robert Lavoie Finnegan's murder, and then here with Belinda. Say hi.
Hi.
So I'm going to put this live stream this way, and I'm going to put it on this pedestal, on this mantle, and see what happens. So
We're lagging.
So obviously we're lagging. So one of the things is that I want to talk about is the Constitution of Oklahoma. Why is this so important? Is because of the fact that the Constitution, this Oklahoma Constitution, which is a state constitution, we have to understand that when it was adopted. And for those out there that are not familiar with when it was adopted in 1907. So when you look at the Constitution and actually you look up the Bar Association in Oklahoma, you'll understand that Oklahoma's Bar Association was created in 1903. That means 4 years before the Constitution was ever written. Which now I understand or comprehend why the Constitution. There's two portions of the Constitution. There is the organic Constitution, and then tied in to the corporation Constitution. So when we're talking about corporation, we got to say, well, what do they mean by corporation? Have we not learned that the government can't be a corporation and a corporation can't be a government? And if that is the case, why back in 1903 was the Bar Association created to amend or to add into the Constitution a corporation section, which demonstrates why Oklahoma is the longest constitution, which is at 121 pages, demonstrates why the Constitution is the longest constitution in Oklahoma, because once you see and you understand the year when the Constitution of Oklahoma was adopted and when the American Bar Association was created, you'll realize that your entire state had been hijacked by the corporations and members of the American Bar Association. That is your lobbyists, that is your judges, that is your lawyers, and your politicians that are members of the American Bar Association. This is why they're stealing your children. This is why they're stealing your land, your minerals, and your water. And they want to defraud the American people. And until the American people decide to wake up and educate themselves, then we're still going to continue to be screwed. But if those that want to wake up and educate your family, your friends, your colleagues at work, you start realizing how bad the system is. That the system, with the organic constitution, why our founding fathers sacrificed their blood, sweat, and tears, is to give us life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, which is being destroyed from within. So this is huge. This is symbolic. This is why the people of Oklahoma need to start reading, start educating, and forgetting about the thunders, because the thunders are now going to come and save your land, or your children, or your water, or your minerals. No different in Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma, OSU. If you're an OSU football fan, they're not going to come over and protect your land. They're not going to come over and protect your children, your water, your land, and your minerals. At the end of the day, you're being taxed without representation. And this is why I got to educate the American people and the people of Oklahoma. So it's up to the people of Oklahoma what they're planning to do. Belinda, what do you have to say regarding everything that I just said?
Well, what I'm going to have to say is people in Oklahoma really need to wake up, for the simple fact I did not even know that there was not an Oklahoma Constitution up at the Capitol. I have never read the Constitution of Oklahoma. When we took the oath of office as a deputy, it was under federal to protect the United States of America. It wasn't just to protect Cleveland County. And then to find that you have to go to get an Oklahoma Constitution, you have to go to the archives and read it. And then I was with you at the Capitol, and a couple of legislators got really upset because they were asked verbatim, have you ever read the Oklahoma Constitution? And their reply was no. Then some troopers were asked the same thing. They said no, but what was so sad was the way they conducted themselves on answering you was, I hope you find what you're looking for. Now,
well, what I was looking for is, how do you take an oath if you don't know what oath you're taking to?
Exactly.
Well, what are they bound to? So if they're taking an oath and they don't understand their oath, then how in the world are they protecting the United States of America or the people of Oklahoma?
Well, they can't be if they don't know what they swore an oath to.
So this is. I mean, do you go to the bank and write contracts without you not understanding the contracts?
No.
So how in the world is that happening today?
Well, it's just dumbing down to the people, keeping documentation, things away from them, or not mentioning it. You know, not bringing it out to the open. It's basically hiding things. It's not open. You have to go dig for it because they're not going to give it to you. They've got it so wrapped up in the bag how everything is working. I mean, when I read some of this Constitution, there's not supposed to be any lobbyists at the Capitol.
Right.
They're supposed to be in a whole nother building. And yet here they are. We walk into the snack bar and there's a man talking to some young people saying, I'm so-and-so and we're here to lobby for medical stuff. And I'm thinking, wow, right here. And then another guy comes by and he goes, oh, you up here to lobby? Well, you come to the right place. This is where you can get you some money. Really?
And this is what's happening on a daily basis. So how the people of Oklahoma are supposed to understand what's really happening in the Capitol when you have a lobbyist building right across? I mean, what is it? 100 yards away from the Capitol, and then you have the Bar Association, which now is 100 yards away from the lobbyist, and then the lobbyist building is 100 yards away from the Oklahoma Supreme Court. So how in the world is any rancher, any Native American, any mother or father out there going to get due process when these criminals control all four sections of the de facto government? And I use the word de facto government because the government that is currently right now operating is rogue. It's a rogue government not looking out for the best interest of Oklahoma.
Right. I will agree. You're going to have to set down people and open books. Get this Constitution. Start reading it. You've got to. We have to start standing up now because if we don't, we're going to lose everything here in this state. Because if you really look at this Constitution, they've almost got us right there.
Oh, yeah. And when we talk about the swamp,
it's right here, too.
It's right here. It's at the state capitol. No different than Florida. No different than Oregon and Salem. No different than Olympia and Washington State. I mean, no, it's no different. The swamp is deep. But the problem is that they methodically took away the Constitution from our children. And they took the Constitution from almost my generation. So how many generations have they dumbed down? They purposely dumbed down by taking away, by slowly stripping away the Constitution from our institutions.
Exactly. Well, I mean, look back even when I went to school, you know, you had history, and then they changed it. Oh, it's civics. Now it's social studies.
Yeah.
I mean, it just kept changing. Where we used to, back in the 50s and stuff, they had to read the state history. You had to know Oklahoma history to even graduate from here. As I was, I guess, in grade school, I think that's probably about when they quit doing the Oklahoma history. I don't know dates and years, but I know I didn't have to take it. I remember the teenage boys across the street yaying that they wasn't going to have to take it to graduate. So it's been a long time. They've been dumbing us down and taking away our history and what's really going on.
Because if you can strip history, you can repeat history again. And that's basically what is happening. Right now, everything for instance, I was very fortunate. I was probably the last tail end, but I whatever little that I still recall and what we learned from history back then, we're basically living it, because they slowly done society so bad that we have lost our history, and we're being deprived from freedom and for liberty, for the pursuit of happiness. We're being deprived by what what's stated within the Declaration of Independence. So it's sad and it's mind blowing, because now I'm here in Oklahoma. I was in Washington. I was in Nevada, Oregon. And to see everything, not just those states, but Oklahoma, and those that are proud to call themselves Okies, and they say they bleed red. Yeah, how can you bleed red when the criminals at the Capitol are stealing your fortunes?
That's true.
If you're bleeding red, why are you not over there lynching them? So I do not understand this. I do not understand. People of Oklahoma, I'm red, I'm proud, I'm a Sooner. But yet, the people in the Capitol are screwing you, and you bleed so much red. Why are you allowing this?
Because people just do not know. They're not aware. It's like a few weeks ago, trying to take away our First Amendments with the Ethics Commission. A lot of citizens, as we know, was well against it. They got to speak. But then finally somebody come up and said, hey, by Oklahoma Constitution, the Ethics Commission can't do this. Well, you got told that was just dropped by the media and stuff. It was just dropped, probably because everybody didn't like it. But the fact was, it was illegal to do in the first place.
And by the way, the media in Oklahoma, the Oklahoma Press Association?
Yes.
I strongly advise you to question everything they write. Matter of fact, when they write something, I highly recommend you to look for the truth, follow the document. Do not take their word for face value. Would you agree on that?
I would agree on that. If you'll start looking, you're going to find out that a lot of media everywhere in the United States are kind of linked up to one little deal with people that we don't want, that donates to them, like Soros.
Oh, George Soros, Media Matters. I mean, the Oklahoma Press Association is tied with Media Matters through Mark Thompson, the executive vice president of Oklahoma the Oklahoma Press Association. I didn't know this until I spoke to him, and they were trying to figure out why I was taking pictures of them and associated in the Capitol, which is a public building by the taxpayers. But now we understand how they are colluded with the members of the American Bar Association. That is the lobbyists, that is your judges, that is your lawyers and your politicians with the corporations to defraud the people of Oklahoma. That's why the word militia is so bad. Because when the people of Oklahoma create a militia to come after these criminals, now they want to paint the society and say, oh my God, these guys are bad, they're evil. They're evil because your criminals are stealing our land, our children, our water, and our minerals. And that's what they don't want to tell you at the Oklahoma Press Association. They don't want to tell you that members of the American Bar Association are screwing you while you call yourself an Okie.
I want to suggest to everybody, if you ever do go up to the Capitol, and you should see lobbyists or them talking. Ask them where they reside. Last year when I started going up there for gun rights, we call them the red shirt moms, I guess moms demand action. I sat right there with them, and the women that I was sitting beside me didn't even live here in Oklahoma. They lived up in New York and Pennsylvania. And they were waiting for the red shirts. And they verbatim told me that Bloomberg was buying them their shirts. So, by even our Oklahoma Constitution, people from out of state is not supposed to be coming into our capital and trying to force us, Oklahomans, to do what they want to do. So, next time you see a lobbyist, ask them, where do you reside?
Yeah. Well, why would Bloomberg invest money to have people come over here to try to take your Second Amendment? What the hell does he have any business in Oklahoma? Oh, maybe because he wants to help the corporations steal land from the ranchers and from the Native Americans.
Exactly.
So, for those out there, and to the people of Oregon, I strongly advise you what Kate Brown has just passed or is pushing in the Senate. She might or she might not get it. That depends on the people of Oregon. And to the people of Oregon, when you talk about lands, we got to understand the Hammonds and the Bundys, why the Hammonds and the Bundys were there, why Robert LeBoy Finnegan was murdered. I have that document. It's, I believe, Senate Bill 454 or 545. Either way, those that think that it's only about vacation, I was told a thing called stuff and fill. Stuff and fill is basically while you are being distracted by the Oregon News Press, the Oregonian, or the Mount Here Enterprise, or the Blue Mountain Eagle, what it's really happening is about going after lands and selling it to the corporations. That was not a vacation bill, or incentives for workers. That's actually a stuff and fill bill that they're going to do is basically defraud you of your lands. So if those understand the word stuff and fill, I strongly advise you to start reading that bill. And I will post that bill. Matter of fact, I'll do another live stream just regarding that bill of Oregon. It's a Senate bill. The other thing is the Administrative Procedures Act. Everything they use on that bill is talk about administration or administrative. Never the Constitution, never the Oregon Constitution or the state Constitution or the federal Constitution. Administrative. And if you understand the word administrative or administration, you'll understand that those are the words of bar members trying to force you into their corporate courtrooms, into their corporate bylaws. Not the Constitution, but their corporate bylaws, their procedures, the rules, regulations, and guidelines. Never the Constitution. So tomorrow I'll definitely be doing a live stream just on that for those in Oregon. So basically, what's happening in Oregon, it's happening in Oklahoma.
Right here.
So and for those that have been following me, you know that I've been in Oregon. You know that I've been in Washington State, in California, in Texas, in Arizona, New Mexico. Now Oklahoma, no different. No different. And yet, for the Okies out there, what do you say about Okies, about the Constitution?
Read it, and you're going to weep.
Yeah. You're going to weep. And one more thing. I think they should take a tour to the Supreme Court where the Freemason symbol's at.
Yes.
I strongly advise you, if you think you're going to get due process to those ranchers, Native Americans, and those mothers that are having their child stolen through the Child Protective Services, I strongly recommend you go to the Supreme Court Justice. You'll see a huge Freemason placard right embedded into the Supreme Court building of Oklahoma. Well, what else is there that we saw? Oh, the Lobbyist building. You'll see the Lobbyist building across from the Supreme Court Justice. We strongly recommend you to go look at that. Then you just have the Capitol, and then about 200 yards from the Capitol, you'll see the Bar Association. You'll see the Bar Association, and you would be dumbfounded on how dumbed down the people of Oklahoma have been purposely by members of the American Bar Association.
Exactly. And it is going to get worse if we don't fix it now. You people have got to wake up, make phone calls, go up there, sign that little signature on that little pad, try to talk with them, see what they say to you. What do they say when they're out here in the media? Watch what they say. From last year, I watched 1 week, one of our people here in Cleveland County She was all for the Constitution over here, but then when it came to another deal, she was all against it. The Constitution needs to be changed. You took an oath of office to uphold the Constitution, federal and state. When you start straddling that fence, to me, you don't need to be in politics. You swore an oath. You live up to that oath. But when you start straddling, to me, you have become a traitor and should be ousted.
Yeah. Not just in Oklahoma, but all
everywhere.
All 50 states.
Everywhere.
Because it's sad if we're sending our military to go fight for freedom, when our liberties, our freedom, our pursuit of happiness is being defrauded by these criminals. It's being slowly eroded.
Eroding away. And I'm not going to stand by for it. I'm sorry. I'm going to be a fighter.
So today's going to be an educational,
Yes.
and I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. So there's a lot of things that we'll be printing out, and we're going to be doing a lot of stuff today. So those that consider yourself Okies, strongly recommend to read the Constitution.
Exactly.
For those in Oregon, recommend you start reading that Senate bill. If you do not have it, I'll be posting it after my live stream tomorrow, and hopefully you guys will tune in, because at the end of the day, it's not my state. All I'm doing is trying to bring you aware. Just like Oklahoma is not my state. All I'm trying to do is educate. And if you can't educate yourself, then
We're lost.
we're lost. We're lost as a nation.
Yeah, we're lost.
So,
Thank you.
thank you. For Robert LaVoy Finnegan.
There's his picture right up there. See, it's his little tag that you wear
Yeah.
on your...
Right there.